Ulonka tabati yada to ye kuma da ifa. Inu to ye ko je love bipa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Zongo eshu, ogun oya osun. Kini sheshe, ton she nile yo. O jelo jara.
Lafia, peace and blessings. Aboro boy, Ebo Sacrifices. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisa Gbemi, and today we are joined by the Oba, the Ojise, the Oloye, Baba Ifa Karade. Lafia, Aboro boy, Ebo Sacrifices. Baba, how you doing today?
Boy, I told you what it was soon. I am fine. Mowadada. Everything is looking good. It's great. Alafia to you. Peace and blessings, my brother. Okay. And to all of the tribe, all of our people out there, Ashe tribe, Karade Nation, and everybody who's just with us. Right. DJ is like, let's go. I mean, people, they expecting, stuff to get removed. For real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, the tribe came in early and heavy already, boy. We're coming in hot, man. Shout out to DJ Quico, my boy John. Shout out to Nkosi. Alafia Ni, Aboro boy, Ebo Sacrifices, Agbo Ato. What's going on, family? Appreciate y'all joining us on this good Friday night, man. We got the Friday night lights ready to get this thing cracking. I appreciate you, Baba. And shout out to our guest that we had on the other day, Baba Yasir Rahotep came in and did his thing with the meditation call the other day. And we got some more new tribe members. I just saw today. I didn't realize we got another some more members that signed up. I think in the YouTube community, as well as a few more new members to the Patreon community. So shout out to you, family, all the supporters who are joining the communities. We definitely appreciate all of y'all. We appreciate the love and support. And we're gonna keep making it do what it do. And then shout out to everybody who was on the call, the private community call. I think that was Wednesday or Thursday. But shout out to everybody who came through for that. We had a really good discussion. I'll be sharing that within the private communities. Probably tomorrow I should be able to get that up. No later than Sunday, family. Because I've been working on a lot of stuff, multiple different tasks, but we're gonna keep making it do what it do. And we definitely appreciate every single one of you. So with that, bye-bye. What's good? And, I love this topic, man. This is you went into your bag with this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing how deep you're gonna go in the bag tonight.
Well, deepness is a relative statement, my brother.
Yes, sir.
I'll be trying to keep it light. You understand? Like I don't want to overdo it. I'm not trying to even push the envelope, much less open it. But it just seems to happen. People have a way of interpreting my interpretations. And I feel as though that's powerful. That is indeed, what I need to happen, to people listen and think about and have their perspective on it and be, willing and able to say, let me join the voice. Okay. Let me join the harmony of sound. Let me be a part of the forest. Let me be a part of creation, as opposed to, and I'll put that word opposed in quotes because there's different levels of it, just be quiet, just listen, do what I say do, follow the bouncing ball, even if it's over a cliff. Okay. And just kind of, be okay with what you're being told. And as I prepare even to go back into the college, after, the winter break, which will be like Monday, but the whole thing is that I more deeply ponder a quote that I'm taking from The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And that is, we are given the opportunity to read. We are taught to read, but we are not taught to reason. And I found that a very profound insight across all walks of life, if you will, from educationally to religiously, spirituality, okay, professionally, just do your job kind of thing. Just do your job. Don't make waves. Don't speak out. Don't think. It's all back to the term I used on the last episode. The cookie cutter mentality. You know, the factory mode. I don't know, creating followers and not leaders, because see, leaders think, and in in a very small but large way, you know. Um, that's what we need, you know. In Ifa and Isheshe, we need people who don't mind thinking, and whatever conclusion that they come up with, if they're okay with that, and the people who revolve around them and who they revolve around are at peace with that, then I truly wonder who's to say that what you're doing is wrong and you're not following, you know, the bouncing ball. You're breaking out of the mold. You're not part of the cookie cutter, you know, factory made Babalaos, you know, Ianifas and Babas and Orishas and Abarishas, you know, you know, you're just not one of us. And I just say, well, who are you? You know what I mean? Who are you that I'm not one of? Or we don't recognize you. You don't recognize me. You know, I went all the way to Nigeria twice, you know, the elders, okay? The compound, the community, and you know, I made Ifa and Ifa made me. You know, I'm at Badagry. I'm there. You know, at the slave port. I'm possessed by it all, and then come back, and then somebody says we don't recognize you. I'm like, there's a whole lot of profane words I could say in response, but I'm just going to say I don't care. You know, so I'm just setting the stage because, like I shared on Facebook, you know, when I posted, you know, the Ashe channel up and coming, I said, "Oh, we got a hot topic tonight," you know. So I'm just gonna take it light. I'm gonna turn the fire up slowly. Don't wanna cook the shell and then the inside is not done. You understand? All right, brother. What where we want to go with this? You know, you hear me? You know.
Oh, you know I heard you listening. We gonna be the yin yang twins tonight, the yin and the yang, because you cooking it slow, but I'm gonna turn the grease up, man. I'm gonna light that thing up. Look,
All right.
I'm coming in hot because
Come
look,
on now.
yeah, man, yeah, because we had a little situation last night, and I wish I'd have had the time to bring it on Front Street, but I'm gonna go ahead and read it. But yeah, we had somebody stop through with the trolling and the foolishness, talking about the fact that we both are teaching, talking about our religion and you're American. You know, and I was laughing for real because I'm like, are you serious? So I'm assuming that this is somebody who I guess lives on the continent, and I guess that they look at us as if we're beneath them because they live on the continent. But my thing is this: it's like I responded back to him, and initially I started to go in and get, go down to the low frequency, but I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. But I am gonna respond because it's like, first and foremost, humanity began in Africa. Am I correct with that, Baba?
You are absolutely correct, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
And I do know a little bit about this. I'm not gonna say I know as much as you, but I know a little bit because I am a nerd and I am a self-proclaimed nerd. And I'm proud of it, and I'm a researcher. I'm a reader. So I do know that the oldest human remains that historically have been found to date were found on the continent of Africa. Is that correct, Baba?
That is absolutely correct. We call her Dink Nish. Okay.
Okay.
They call her Lucy, but we ain't got nothing to do with them.
Right.
That's our mother, you know.
Okay. But it was a melanated, brown-skinned black female remains that were found, right?
Oh yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure for that, because the response that I gave the person, whoever it was, that humanity began in Africa, and it began with African people in Africa, and therefore, no matter who you are or where you live, you are of African descent. You can be European. You were at some point in time of black melanated descent. So we're not gonna go through the whole, you know what I mean, the whole metamorphosis and the caterpillar and the butterfly theories and all that about how everything came to be. But what I do know is you're not gonna come for me as if I'm not of African descent, based upon you being somebody who has, I guess, this so-called superiority complex about yourself. Because at the end of the day, nobody's better than anybody else. I'm not better than you, whoever that person is, and you're not better than me. So with that, I just feel like that was something I wanted to address, because I feel like that same energy, that same mentality, that same low vibrational frequency is the reason why a lot of us can't get together and go a lot further together than we do, because we have people who have that limited belief that they're better, or they're, whatever the case may be. I feel like that's something that we definitely got to get, a strong hold on, but surely, but, I feel like slowly but surely we already are doing that. So I'm excited about today's show, Baba, because that topic is a powerful one. And we're not going to let the trolls come in here and have no shine, but we will, shine a light on them if they do want to come in with that kind of foolishness, because at the end of the day, this is about us doing the work for the universal prime creator, the great God in heaven, Odamari, who sent us here to do this work. So therefore, we're going to do that work by any means necessary. And we're not really concerned with whoever feel like we shouldn't be speaking about what we're speaking about because we're not living or residing or born and raised on the continent. My soul was born and raised in the universe and the cosmos, so therefore it can go anywhere it damn well pleases to talk about whatever it damn well pleases to uplift and empower our people. So that's what we're dealing with tonight. So yeah, I'm coming in hot, Baba, but I'm ready to get this thing cracking. So shout out to Bro Kasu, shout out to Mr. Rodriguez, shout out to Wale. What's good, family? We appreciate y'all joining us.
All right. Well, we gonna play hot, cool, man. Because that's how we moving tonight, man. And I'm all for it, brother, because we're here to help people to understand,
Yes.
and like you just so wisely put, at no time and at any time will this podcast stand upon itself and look down on others.
Right.
Even the way you dealt with the brother, it wasn't very condescending. You were just hitting him with straight facts. It's like, where you coming from with this, man? You're delusional, and tying it, over to what I just spoke about in terms of people not recognizing. Well, and I gotta be specific, recognizing me because I didn't go through the syncretism, because I didn't, abide by the set rules of what is and what is not recognized. It's like, how dare I, go to the continent? How dare I go to the motherland? How dare I sit with the elders? How dare I get my initiations other than the script, okay, that's set, via Santeria, via Lukumi. And I'm like, look, I don't have anything against what you're doing. I'm not standing here talking about I don't recognize you. I'm coming with my hand, if in peace, let's work and learn together. We all have a common obstacle that we're trying to either break through or climb over, racism, sexism, you know what I mean? A downplay on the African, be it Africana, wherever in the diaspora. We do have a common, battleground, if you will. But for you to say that you don't recognize me, I consider that problematic, not because my heart is broken, because at the beginning and end of every day, I didn't do it for you to be recognized. I did it to be recognized by Orumila. I did it to be recognized by Obatala. I did it to be recognized by all of the Irun Mole, the beings of light. I did it to be recognized by the ancestral energy that is propelling me. So for you to stand there talking about you're American and you know you're not African and and you didn't do it our way, so we don't recognize you. It's like my brothers, go on and do what you're doing. Nobody's bothering you. Okay, I'm not coming back, with my Iru carry my fly wish talking about, oh well, you're not doing it right. Because see, all of that is, and you'll hear me say this phrase more so, and especially tonight, however, is a phrase that came to me when writing the dialogue between Emina and Baluku in A Place of Nights. And this, ethereal being says it's endlessly catastrophic. Endlessly catastrophic. This debate on what's right, what's to do, this is not the absolute correct way, and we don't recognize you because you didn't go through this channel, as if there's only one channel to go through. You don't, you don't meet our standards. I'm like, oh, who are you? You're not my ancestors. You're not Orisha. You're not Orumila. You're just a representation of who you are, or dare I say, who you feel yourself to be. So be okay in that, but don't be spewing your delusional toxicity on the earnest people within the Ifa Isheshe tradition, because they're not following, again, you're a bouncing ball, even if it leads them over a cliff, and you're just happy that they're doing it your way, whether it's beneficial to them ultimately or not. Okay, so that's in my response.
Yeah, nah. Shout out to Nkosi. He said, "Here it is. We have an Oba here, and people don't want to show respect. It's crazy, But that's the mindset. And like I said, we're not gonna give it too much energy, because we don't deal with the low vibrational frequencies here. But we do address it from time to time because sometimes we do need to address the trolls. But yeah, with that, Baba, the topic though, man, that this is a deep one, and we can go so many different places with this. But I really want to go with just getting straight to it, man. Ebo, Ebo, sacrifices and taboos. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot to unpack with those 4 words, man. A lot. So I mean,
yeah,
and 2 of them are synonymous for each other, I would assume,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm.
So now, Ebo, we want to start with
Yeah,
that one first. We want to start with taboo. Which one we go with first?
yeah. No. We'll go with Ebos first.
Okay.
But before I do, I just want to close the chapter on what I was just stating.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all my people out there, and Koshi, everybody, this was when I first got initiated, 91, and then back for a confirmation in 92. And then coming back and attempting to be a part of the African American movement of the ATRs, African Traditional Religions. Not only did I, study it while in college, got my degree in Africana Studies, but I had been to Kenya, back in 77. And then, so I had the African experience, and I was developing that mindset of, okay, who we are beyond the shackles and chains of the conditioned mindset, that conditioned mindset that we spoke about on the last episode. And coming back with that and working on Say the book and getting published with the Handbook of Yoruba Religious Concepts. It was like there's something that we have to offer via these experiences and via this lineage. And yes, it seemingly contradicts the individuals who have this mindset. But if they just let that go and see the core of it, like Baba Orisa Gbemi was stating, that, you know, we all come from the root of the African. And see, that's not a put down. You know what I mean? That's not a, we have to be something else in order to regulate us to being, you know, perceived as the bush people, the native people, people without a history, people without an empire, people without a civilization, people without a nation. There are still people today who find it difficult to believe that there are cities in Africa. This is how strong it is, you know, and would dare to say that there was a black man, a black woman, a black philosophical system, a black religious system that beyond, again, the history calendars, you know, was actually a part of what we all recognize, regardless of the roads that we take to reach the plateaus of the mountains. So I wanted to end there and then segue into Ebos. Okay. Now, Ebos have been loosely defined as sacrifices. Okay. We're going to make an Ebo. We're going to make an Ebo. We're going to make an Ebo. And very few of the Ilays teach. And how do I know? Because I've been through a number of Ilays before, you know, deciding to leave this country. And even when I was in Nigeria, I wasn't getting much information unless I specifically asked for it. I wouldn't have even come back with that opale if I didn't go, as they said, oh, he's going Jersey on them. I was going New Jersey. It was like, oh, I'm all the way over here and we don't have this. And I'm not getting this type of information. I need for somebody to talk to me, you know, because I didn't come here to just do it. You know, I came here to understand it so that I can then therefore formulate it and forge it into that shield and weapon that I'm going to need to elevate my people specifically and humanity subsequently or as a result of. Okay. So when we got down to Ebos, I asked questions, okay, because I saw within the compound that there were there were numerous types of Ebos. Okay. I saw Ebos being made to Ogun. They stretch the dog out, head gone. Okay. I saw the rams, the goats. Okay. And I'm saying, okay, I got to learn not just how to do this, but how to think about doing it and how to get the people who it's being done for to think about doing it. Because other than that, we're just doing it. And, oh, well, the Orisha going to come take care of us. And yeah, okay. But if you're doing those Ebos, if you're making sacrifices thoughtlessly, mindlessly, and as great as your devotion may be, if it's not bringing about a transformation, a transcendence within you, then one might question not only the purpose, but the continuation of the results, which is why we find so many people going back and back, back and back, back again and back again for yet another Ebo, another Ebo, another Ebo, another Ebo. You know, there's something said about doing the same thing in the same way and expecting different results. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what I came to understand, and then as studies supported, because I cross-reference experience with studies, reading the writings of others, okay, coming to understand that there are individuals of the Yoruba land who have written extensively on the subject, and not just from the state of the Odu, but these these quote unquote intellectuals, they lived this. They are from the compounds. Okay. So we come to find out that there are 4 different types of ebos. And I'm not going to go into it too heavy because see, this is class material, you know. But the first type, and in no specific order, okay, is what's called the votive. Okay. VOTICE. This type of ebo, okay, in Yoruba land is called Ebo Eje, okay, which we have come to define as the blood sacrifice. So I say, okay, well, so what is votive? What does votive means? Well, votive means that you are making an oath. You are making a promise. You are what we call imole. You are making a solemn commitment, okay, to that Orisha, okay, to the Egun essence, to Orumila. You understand? There's a commitment that has to be made by the person whom the Ebo is being done for. And whether that commitment be stated aloud, via prayer, okay, or back in the days when I presided over the temple, I would pray into that sacrificial bird. Pray into that. Pray. Put your head to the head of that sacrificial animal, and you transfer what it is, your oath, not what you want, done to somebody, not what you can't figure out yourself, but what you are really willing to give in terms of your level of commitment for the life that's being taken, sacrificed on your behalf. Okay? Now that's technically called the Ebo Eje. It's what are you going to do to fulfill this vow? Because if you're not making any changes within, as I've stated and been stating for the past 40-something years, you might as well be a butcher. You might as well just go to the butcher shop, get a piece of meat, and do what you got to do with it. I know it sounds kind of crass, but I mean, really, how many ebos do you need per year? And you're still not making a commitment, a level of introspection where you have to change yourself because a life is being given and blood is being shed for you. Not so much to be saved. That's Abrahamic. Okay? That's what we've been raised to do. With I say Orisha Gbemi, Orisha Bami, it's Orisha support me. And sometimes I'll even slip up and say, Orisha save me because I cannot save myself. I'm putting it out there like I use the term religion. I know who I'm talking to. I know that road needs to be cleared. But as time goes on, okay, it's like, okay, it's not about you being saved from a situation. It's about you being supported, empowered, strengthened so that you can rise above it, deal with the negative forces from within, how you navigate, and give homage to the Orisha for uplifting you, supporting you, elevating you through. Okay? A lot of stories I could tell. I'm an old man. Okay? Don't let this outer appearance fool you now. I'm older than dirt. Okay? But we're gonna keep moving on. So that's the votive. The second one is propitiation, right? We want to appease. Okay. We may have done something that we feel as though was a bit offensive to, let's just say, Obatala. Okay. We might have stepped out. We talked about seduction on the last one, and that's nothing against our sisters, because we can be seduced by money. We can be seduced by fame. All right. So seduction takes on a wide range, and there are many types of spirits, if you will, who are incubus, succubus, that whatever name you want to call them, they do come. They're part of the Jogun, okay, the negating forces. So we may have gotten swept off our feet. We may have done something that, oh man, that was jacked up. I don't know what came over me. You know what I mean? But I messed up, and it's starting to feel like the Orisha aren't really happy about it, and they letting me know. So now I want to go see the Baba, the Iya, Baba Lao, Iya and Ifa, and like, look, we need to do something because, but all of that is, you have to realize that yourself, you have to be like accountable for your actions. And yes, we're all human. We are going to make mistakes. We're going to be out of character at times. But when we do, and we know it's against the Orisha, we know it's against Ifa. So now we want to appease. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Here's my offering. Okay. Now it could be Ebo J or could be Adimu. We'll get into that a little later. Adimu being that which is not the quote unquote Ebo J. It's not the blood sacrifice. So we want to do that, and that's called Ebo Itutu. And we see the word tutu in there, which means cool. All right. It's like, we cool now. Okay. I made the elbow, I even made the oath. I'm just not going to do that anymore. I got to get stronger. It's a very addictive world out there. Okay. So that's the second type. Okay. The propitiation. Okay. I'm attempting to appease the Orisha. Now the third one that I've experienced and cross-referenced and, been a part of sharing with the Ifa Ishishe community. And that is the one that's probably the most popular, and that is to ward off evil and to establish a preventative. How do I prevent this negative energy from overtaking me? I know I'm in a bad place and I'm trying to be good, but I'm just bombarded with all of this negativity, and it's starting to make me sick. I can't sleep at night. I'm having not nightmares, but night terrors. Things are happening to me that I don't really feel as though I deserve. I feel like that gazelle, running from the lion. It's like, what I do to deserve this? And that lion is like, you ain't do anything. I'm just here to feed. Okay. So now we want to develop, something that kind of, again, wards off the negativity. If that gazelle escapes and grows along, okay, now I got horns. Now I got, some sharpness to my hooves. And now I know to stay closer to the herd. Okay. So that these negative forces don't overtake me in my innocence. Now I'm the unicorn with the horn. Okay. So it's like, okay, I need something to help ward off all of this negativity. And that's called Ogun Koja. Okay. So we want to ward off the negative, and we want to give to the essence of whatever particular Orisha is being invoked to help us through. These don't generally come in terms of like sacrificial animals. These are more like meals and drinks and all of that kind of thing. One would think it would be the opposite, but probably because we just want to take it step by step. Okay, so that's that. And then the last one is the substitutiary. That's when we substitute the sacrificial animal for the life of the individual. Now, for those of you with the Marindi Logun, and again, I'm going to go out on a limb here because this is more of a class teaching, that when all of the cowrie shells really are face down, okay, that means that death is imminent and something has to be sacrificed. You know, another living force has to be sacrificed. Another living creature has to be sacrificed for the life of the person whom that message came through on. And so the grave will be dug, you know, it would be as if that person was being buried after they were cleansed with it. But again, I don't want to go too deep. All right. So, my people, I'm just going to kind of step back. Okay. Now, I've given you the 4 different types of Ebos, all of which could be Ebo Eje in terms of blood sacrifice. But again, I will continually reiterate that if you're just doing Ebos because, you know, my Orisha need to be fed, or I'm having trouble with somebody at my job, and you know, all of the usual kind of things. I'm not trying to put anything or anybody down. I'm just saying that there's more to it, and the reason that you don't know is because nobody's teaching it, and maybe they're not teaching it, but obviously because they don't know, or because they don't see it as that important. And that's fine. That's for the folks who feel that way. Okay. But I don't feel that way. So I'm not going to just sit here with intelligent people, grown ups, and continually, you know, not engage in discussions that involve the very faith factor and educational factor and spiritual factor that we're a part of. Okay. Does that make sense to anybody? You
Yeah,
know,
it
but
definitely makes sense to me. One question I do have though, Baba. Well, I got a lot of them, but the only one I want to ask now until you finish with your
no, take
drop
your
your
time,
words
brother.
of wisdom is when you say Ebo Aj, is it AJE or EJE? Does it matter?
Is it no, it matters. Eh,
Okay. Okay.
okay, like shoe,
Right.
you know.
Mhm. I got you. Yeah. Nah,
Yes.
that's powerful. Though. Excuse me. That's powerful. And I meant to respond to a comment the other day from the Patreon group, but it was a sister who joined the community that made a phenomenal point. And
Mhm.
shout out to, I think her name is Angie Anderson. And she's been, I think, in the tradition for 50 years. She's been in the performing arts world as a dancer, and on her journey, into African spirituality. So she was saying that the channel really struck a chord with her, and I was responding saying I appreciate it. And then she was saying that one of the suggestions she has was to put like your bio, in regards to like maybe on the channel or wherever, so people can learn more about you and how
You?
established you are, as well as your resume. I was like, yo, that's a phenomenal comment. So I appreciate that. So I literally just responded to that comment and put it in the Patreon group. But I also probably should be sharing it on the channel as well with some of the other posts that I put in the community tab. So I'll make sure to do that. And then people can get a clear view of it coming next week when we launch the Institute. We'll definitely have the bios and all the information of Baba's credibility and resume and his history, and all the accomplishments and achievements that he's made throughout his career, and not just the Sheshe and Ifat, but also as a certified professor as well. So that's where I share with people all the time about just the blessing of having the relationship that I have with you, because for me it really is a priceless relationship, because having someone who is 40 plus years my senior in regards to not just life, but in the tradition of the spiritual aspects and in the tradition of teaching, being a professor. So it's like it's the best of both worlds for me. So it's like I really do soak up, every opportunity that I get to really take it all in and to take the information, but also to be able to apply the information, because I feel like, I've heard a lot of times that knowledge is power, and I agree to a certain extent, but I really do wholeheartedly feel like applied and executed knowledge is where you really, I feel like you maximize the power of knowledge when you actually execute and you apply it. So that's where I really feel like the most humble, gratitude of being able to have access to a vault, a treasure chest of wisdom, and to really take heed to it, man, and to do my part, to share it and pass it forward. And I think that's one of the main things that I was speaking about on the private community call, in regards to, it's so funny, shout out to lawyer Yinka. I talked to him earlier this week, and he was like, "Man, bro, you don't never take a day off, man. You just sit your butt down somewhere and take a day off." But it was a funny conversation. But and it's real. I do, and I am. But I was telling the tribe the other night, I was like, but one of the things I learned in some of the business groups that I'm in is that success is an obligation. We don't have the luxury of just saying we're going to do something this day and do it the next day, because we might not have the next day. But if we give it everything we got, on the opportunities that we have, in every day and every way, we're getting better and better. Then at that point, success is an obligation. You know what I mean? Because we owe it to everybody who paved the way for us to be here today. So I look at every single mentor who has took the time to sit with me, like you, Dr. Washington, and so many others that's been on the channel, and some that haven't. I owe it to all y'all to make sure that I win. You know what I'm saying? Not only do I win, but I got to win big, because every single person I feel like I look up to has already won big. So now I owe it to Ashe. I owe it to you. I owe it to, you know what I'm saying? I owe it to my children. I owe it to the family. It's like I owe it to the community. I owe it to the culture, because I'm not sitting here if it wasn't for all the other fingerprints that was put on this path for me. You know what I mean? And all the footprints from the ancestors and all those who came before. So it's like we don't really have time to be moaning and groaning and bitching and whining and crying about things, not looking the way that we want them. Okay, they don't look that way, then we make it that way. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of situations and circumstances and environments that I've been in that I wasn't too happy about. So therefore, if I can't control that environment, which I can't and I don't want to, I can't control myself and what I can do. And I can create my own environment and then do what I need to do to make it the way I want to see it to be. And that goes for the workplace, for those of you who have jobs that, you know what I'm saying, you don't like, or careers you don't like, or whatever the case may be. Like, you don't have to deal with that. You can create something of your own. You know what I mean? Even if it's a job, you can take the skills and the tools from that workplace to, you know what I'm saying, create something from your own, your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own ideology, your own vision, and make it be what it's supposed to be. And then therefore you can now help to create that environment for other people and set them up with the opportunity to be in a better environment, in a better situation, but based off of you wanting to go to war with that particular thing that you do not like. So I feel like that's what we're doing on a cultural level here. And I give thanks, like I said, for you and the words of wisdom and always being there to pour it in, Baba. So that's why I feel like, we're going to make it do what it do the way we make it do what it do.
All right. That's peace, man. I just sent you a text, man.
Okay.
All right. Now, when it comes down to the Ebos, okay, for the podcast of the day, we're going to separate it into two parts. The Ebo J, which again was noticed as the animal sacrifices, and the Adimu, which is an offering without the blood. Okay. Now there are a lot of people who are in a tizzy, clockwise. Clockwise tizzies are, to me, very confusing. The earth spins counterclockwise. So we may be in a tizzy counterclockwise because we're just all excited and just ready, But then there's people who are just spinning around. Oh, well, without blood sacrifices, you're not really doing Ifa. Without blood sacrifices, it's not really Orisha. And I've heard people say, through their writings, through their energy, that But if you don't want to do blood sacrifices, then you should find another religion. And I'm like, yo, man, y'all need to slow down. You need to slow down. And I'm going to tell you why you need to slow down. Okay? One, we are not in rural Africa 1,500 years ago. Okay? And that's not a put down. That's just a reality. And I could give you a multitude of stories that support this conclusion that I've reached, not only as a teacher, but as a social worker and as a friend to many of my initiates. In this one instance, long story short, okay, one of the brothers of the temple was going through a divorce, okay? And when they were in the courtroom, okay, the soon-to-be ex-wife made statements about him coming to the temple with the children, his children, and that blood sacrifices were being done. And she felt as though this was reason why she should have full custody, you know. So, in other words, she went in. And the judge asked the children, two girls, okay, have you ever witnessed, have you ever seen an animal being killed? Okay. Hopefully you're following where I'm going with this. Okay. And those girls said no. And they were not lying, because in my temple, I said, you keep the children away from these Ebo AJs. You keep them in another room with a mama or a mama figure. And when we come out, we clean and we fresh. Right. Okay, Brother Consul. So you see where I'm going with this. We have to apply, and I'll quote Brother Consul, we have to apply common sense. Because if, for example, even one of those tween girls, they weren't quite teens yet, but they weren't, between 11, 12 years old, had said, yeah, we saw them, stretch a dog and cut his head off. Police would be at the temple door. And even if I couldn't explain it away, or rewind, even if I could explain it away, my friend, a brother whom I had known for years, he came into Ifa Isheshe because of me. We lost custody of his children. You see? So, no, doing the elbows wasn't the question, but how to do it, when and where to do it, who is permitted to witness it, what needs to be done in terms of the four statements that I just made to you. I would dig a hole in the ground. You make your promise to Aye. You make your oath to the earth. And when this blood is poured into the ground and you cover it up, you're like sealing the pact. You understand? And no, then no kids allowed. None. Zero. That's one story. And I'll just leave that. Okay. Because, for all everybody who's, Ifa's about blood sacrifice, and nobody should have a problem with it, and this is the way of our ancestors, and blah blah blah. I'm like, please stop yourself, okay? Because you don't know. And where are your cross references? Where's your experience? Whom have you spoken with about this? You just tripping because you think, and I dare say, you're going to make more money because you think, like the brother, oh, y'all Americans, y'all not Africans, because you think you got something going on. What's this, the percentage of Christians and Muslims in Nigeria right now? Oh, it far outweighs Ifa and Isheshe people. So just because you from there, that doesn't mean anything. Just because you are fluent in the language, that doesn't mean anything. You could still be delusional, have no sense, have no placement of who you are, where you are, and what you're doing, and the rippling effects of that. So if you want to go all the way into what was done, let's talk about this term, Jehovah. Jehovah. Okay? In order for you to be an Oba, you need to eat the heart of an Oba. Literally. So, okay. Oh, you're slowing down a little bit. Okay. So you were made an Oba. Did you eat the heart of an Oba who had passed, or someone who's being, taken for you to have this ashe? And it's just right there. It's in all the all the ritual statements. Back to the, eat the heart of a warrior kind of thing. You kill your adversary, you're supposed to eat the heart because that's where the courage and the strength came from. So if you want to argue that, you got to always do blood sacrifices regardless of any consideration, okay, then when you become Oba, or if you have made Oba and you didn't eat the heart of someone royalty, then we don't recognize you. Some madness. Okay.
Well,
Orisha, baby, could you
yeah,
take that?
yeah. Look, when you said that, you made me think about my boy Kendrick Lamar song again. They not like us because
Uh-huh.
they not like us. They not like us. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Ifa Sakun had a good question, Baba. He said, can we make offerings to the Orisha by the consumption of herbs? Like, the handbook refers to melanin being one of Oya's herbs. Would it be considered as an offering, or what would you consider that, Baba?
Okay, well, I am ecstatic that question came through at this time. Okay, because it's gonna lead to another story. Okay. So since we're doing hot and cool, I got some cool stories to tell to kind of back this up, Now, the answer to your question about Ifa Shegun is absolutely from where I'm sitting. Okay. Absolutely, which is why I put in the handbook. Mullein, as we come to know, it's very, very potent in clearing out the lungs, clearing out the mucus. So here we have, oh yeah, we're talking about the air and the storm and all of that, but are we considering the air and the storms within inside of us based on our respiratory system? So internally, oh yeah, it's the seat of our lungs, and that capacity to bring air, throughout our body. So if, for example, we are feeling suffocated, even in the spiritual sense. As we talk about Osameji, we feel like everything is over us. You know what I mean? The walls are closing in. I can't breathe. So we might then say, to enhance this, to assist in this breathing, to assist in me coming up for air, let me get to the herbs. And as I'm seeping the herbs, I'm praying Oshun. As I drink the herbs, okay, I'm praying Oshun. As I start to take deeper breaths, I'm giving homage to Oshun. I may take some of the mullein and crush it up, put it in a little bowl, And wherever I feel as though Oshun is in my world, I would put it down as an offering. You see, every offering isn't at a shrine. There were places on the road where there would be, the image of an Orisha, or in other cultures of any of their divinities right there on the road. When you walk by, you feel as though you want to make that offering, then you make the offering. Everything is not confined in that, you can only find God in the church kind of energy. You know what I mean? That just drive me crazy. Okay. So yes, brother. Yes, you can. Now, this leads me to a story about sister who came for divination. We're going back years and years and years ago. And she was became a member of the elect, and it was like, okay, she's cool people, everything was nice, but she was, having, when she came, it was like some issues with her health, and she was saying, well, where she came from, they were like, pay us $750, we'll give you what they call it, Sampano or Babaluaye, okay, and that's going to clear up all your problems. And she said she did it, and their bows were made and all of that. And for a minute, she said it seemed like the problems went away, and I'll call that psychosomatic, but that works too, So if you feel better, you feel better regardless. But she said then the problems came back, and then she went back to the people, and of course they wanted, 1,200 at this point, because we got to do more, maybe even 2 goats instead of 1. And she was like, I was having a little problem with that. And I said, this is what I'm going to do. Here's some herbs to drink, and here's, I think, about 7 Tai Chi movements to do to start loosening up your lower back and start bringing a little strength, to your system, so that you're more upright. Everything is slouched, everything is compressed. And so I said, now, for that same period of time, you let me know how you were feeling. Okay. So she lived a little distance. So about a month or 2 later, she came back and she said, everything you did, everything you gave me worked. She said, I haven't had any relapses. I'm feeling fine. I said, well, we'll give thanks to Baba Luaye, but we want to give thanks to you for, making a lifestyle change. And I said, well, that'll be $750. And she said, why should I pay you? And I said, I just wanted to hear yourself say that. You understand where I'm going with this? So, Baba Ifa Karade, it's like that out there, So, people will have you coming back. Oh, you need another Ebo, you need another Ebo. And if the fix is temporary, then it's like, okay, fine. But then when it breaks down again, like anything else, you got to take it back to the shop. And then you could still get charged more. But then you have somebody like me who says, drink some mullein for Oya. You don't need a 4-legged. You don't even need a rooster. What you need to do is lay off them dairy products. What you need to do is get some mullein and alfalfa in your body. What you need to do is some breathing exercises. That's what you need to do, because see, that's going to change you. That Ebo is not going to change you. So she opted not to pay, and I didn't really expect it, but it was just kind of a wake-up call, in terms of what I was checking in people, as I'm learning and growing. And that is, people, they something else. You know what I mean? So it was like, all right, sis, we're good. And then I never saw her again. Okay. But that's okay, because whatever she saw in herself, that's something that she needs to work out. I helped you to heal yourself. Okay. So just give thanks to Baba Luaye, and do this and do that, make your offerings, but you don't need all them blood sacrifices. You just need to take better care of yourself. Yeah, so we don't need to eat the heart of a king or an Oba in order to be an Oba anymore. But if you wanted to be one of the old guard and talk about, it's all about, the sacrifices and the types of offerings. But again, you wasn't living even 500 years and you weren't a part of an empire. This whole cookie cutter thing, you need to stop, because not everybody was doing it. There were people, let's get to this, who were doing human sacrifices. And that was in the Odu. Human sacrifices, not just in Nigeria, but around the world. Okay. So our ancestors, okay, or a percentage of our ancestors, because I'm not going to fall into the cookie cutter and be thrown into the oven either, were doing human sacrifices as well as animal sacrifices. As a matter of fact, when I was in Kenya, because we were out in the bush, and I was told specifically, don't wander around out here, because they said there are people out here who will take you. They will take you. This was 1977. They will take you. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking, traffic and all that. Ain't nobody want this old beat up. No, they said, no, they will take you. And they will sacrifice you. And I knew that there was, because you could hear the drums and out in the bush, like you got the hood and then you got the hood. Okay. And I'm like, yo, okay, let me stay close to the fire. Now people sacrificed their enemies. The Romans did it. The Greeks did it. The Aztecs did it. The Catholics did it under the Inquisition. They're sacrificing people in the name of their God. It's just, again, endlessly catastrophic. But the human sacrifices were once a part of the Odu. The human sacrifices were once a part of the culture. So if you're so adamant about holding on to animal sacrifices and someone else is very adamant about holding on to human sacrifices, don't look at them and say, I don't recognize you, because they looking at you saying, well, I don't recognize you. But human sacrifices were. And if you're not careful and end up at the wrong place at the wrong time, the human sacrifices will still go on, no matter how they paint it. Or, the sacrifice, like the one brother with the animal sacrifice. Oh, well, the Babalaos care about the animals, and it's so touching, and they make the sacrifice, and everybody feels sad. And like, no, they don't. No, they don't. It's like it's just another bird. Okay, it's just another goat, and that'll be $1,300. Okay, so now, if we go to the human sacrifice and we dress them up, and the human is the highest element of sacrifice, to the divinities, and everybody's cool with that, and it's like, yeah, okay, try that ish now. Okay, try it and see where you end up. Okay, it's just not appropriate. It's not the time. It's not, we don't sacrifice our enemies to the gods, cut their heads off, or cut the Aztecian style, cut their hearts out and offer it up to the gods and all that kind of stuff. But it's part of their culture. And if it's part of Ifa, then let's do that. And people are like, no. Well, then now you got people saying, well, as far as the blood sacrifices, they're saying no. So we got to eat the heart, and we have the human sacrifices. Okay. And if we want to keep doing things the old way, then every woman out there who's involved in Ifa and Isheshe, just be ready to be a co-wife in Orogun, because the culture permits it. And if you're in the culture, you can't say, oh, I don't want to do that. Unless your Odu comes up, Oye Kumeji.
That's another topic, Baba. That's another topic we got to bring to the show. You know, we did that episode and it got lost. I don't know what the hell happened to it, but that really pissed me off that we lost it.
All right, well, we can revisit it, but I'm making the connection in terms of, you know, people who claim that we got to do things the old way, like
No,
they've been, you know.
No, I'm sorry. Nah, but
No,
you going in though, man. Like you in your bag, like deep. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna jump back off and let you keep running with it. But you know, I was able to help somebody last week with you know, that by having your guidance and your assistance, we were able to do it in a different way. Like you said, we was able to, you know, rework how the cookie cutter, you know, mold has been set. And the look on his face when I told him that I was able to do it a different way, where we didn't have to do a certain type of, you know what I'm saying, like that. That's what this is about for me. And that's why I'm like, when people make them little silly comments, like, it's like, bro, you have no idea who you're talking to or what you're dealing with. Like, we really doing the work, but we're doing it with integrity, and we're not trying to bleed our people's pockets or even the animals for that matter, because it's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but it takes someone like you who have that wisdom to know that you can do it different ways. It don't always have to be blood. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I've seen it firsthand with my own eyes, you know, the impact that your wisdom has had, not just on myself, but for other people in my community, you know what I mean? Which is several states away from yours, but it's still, you know, the wisdom is power. So I just wanted to give you like a big ups on that, Baba, because I've seen it firsthand how having the experience and the wisdom that you have to be able to do things a different way, but still get it done, it matters.
I say, you know, and I deeply appreciate it, because see, I'm not trying to, my people, I'm not trying to tell anybody what and what not to do. You know what I mean? I'm not going in on the ritualists and the animal sacrificing people. You know what I mean? If that's their way of feeling like they need to feel, then it's like, you know, more power to you. You know what I mean? But don't come at me, because I don't do it as extensively as I shared on the last podcast. You know, we are really too addicted to it. You know, the adrenaline, you know, the bloodletting. You understand? It's like warriors going mad on the battlefield because of all the bloodletting. You know, but yet the battle rages on. You see? So when we slow that down and start to kind of open that other aspect of self that says, you know what? It's not just about moderation. It's about realization, you know, that what is being done is being done for the best and in the best way. Okay. Don't get children involved. Okay. It could lead to some very, very hard repercussions. Okay. It's the same way. Don't get little girls, don't get kids involved with being co-wives. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, well, oh, but that's what they did back in the day. Well, it's not back in the day. It's right. It's today. And it was going to be tomorrow. Okay. So learn how to grow. And who's to say, again, everyone in Nigeria or on the whole continent of Africa was doing it the way that you are interpreting someone's interpretation. Even from the oral traditions, we ought to understand that these are, you know, individuals who are interpreting a system that was in place long before they were born. Okay. And I shared that on one of the podcasts, where the Odu come from a system that's older than the Odu Ifa. Rumula didn't come around to around, you know, 5 to 1000, you know, BCE, before, you know, before Christian era. But we've been, you know, there in that area for 12,000 years, easy, 12,000 years. And we weren't just, you know, running around in the savannah, you know, we were building cities and towns, you know. But see, we don't see ourselves in that light. So we don't see ourselves, you know, period. You know? So, yeah, we have to take care, that we bring in the Ebos during initiations and ceremonies only to be handled by those who have time, knowledge, and the energy to do it. Having people go through Ebos at every stage. Well, you get your Eleke, so now you get 2 chickens. So now you're getting your warriors. Da, 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 da. Sometimes just wash them in the herbs, and then just present them with the understanding of a learning process, not a bloodletting process.
Oh, sure.
That's probably, and again, like I stated last time, Baba Orisa Gbemi, that when people take new knowledge, they can balance it. However, it could be, I'm gonna take 10% of that, 90% of that, 40% of that, 60% of that, but at least I'm not going 100% full steam into, the Orisha blood.
Yeah. Nah, and Kosi was on a call, I think whatever day that was, Thursday. I get my days mixed up. But anyway, I think Kosi was on the call, but I spoke about that. And I spoke about how much I appreciate that, because I can take everything that I've learned from studying in the books, whether it's your book or your books or other books, and then also what I've learned, from the elders who, kind of molded me upon my path. But the beautiful thing about it is, you've always, from day one, you always taught me without the training wheels on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally taught me, metaphorically speaking, if Ifa Isheshe is a bicycle, you taught me how to ride without the training wheels. Literally from day one. From the time you really started teaching me, it was like, you a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel for the people who have been like constrained by those like probation officer type, houses, or, EIs or Babas, who really want to like control every aspect of what a person's faith, or I should say, what a person's journey is about. And, and I know that it's kind of passed down, from what was taught from, the whole transatlantic, Ma'afa aspects of us, keeping our culture and the syncretism and all that stuff. But that's the thing that I've always appreciated the most, because you've always taught, like, you got this, like, you smart enough to, what I'm saying, figure it out. You're a grown man or grown woman, etc. It's like, and even Ifa Sagun, was saying that on another call too, one of the private calls, like how just blood raw you are with what you do and how you do it, but also with challenging us. Like, what are you doing for yourself? What are you doing for the community? What are you doing to contribute or make an impact in the culture? Because that's what this is about. And it's like, so many people want to get money, and so many people want, want to do the airball. That's what they want to do, because it's about getting money, or it's about, being bloodthirsty and being blood, I guess blood first. How they say shoot first, ask questions later. Well, I feel like some of the people who are doing things is like sacrifice first, really work on self later. But that posed me to ask a question, Baba, because I want to really truly know, because this is not just something that I've thought about, but I've actually had these conversations with other priests. And it's like, for how long do you continue to either divine or even give prescribed eyeballs to a client or devotee, when it's evident that they're not doing any of the self work in order to grow or to use the tools that they have access to? I.e., if someone has their warriors, how long would you continue to make eyeballs for them on a monthly basis if they're not doing any of the inner work or the self work to like get themselves to the next level in regards to expansion, elevation, or growth, etc.? Because some people, they do it, and I'm not judging nobody's path and how they move or what they do, but at the same time, it's like the divination is saying pretty much almost the same thing month after month after month. We're doing that ball after ball after ball, and it's like, okay, so there's something's not happening here. So I know the deities are there to do what they do. Are you doing the work?
Yeah.
How is there a time frame that you do that, or how do you? What's your opinion on that? Because the people who I was having a conversation with, we all babies in this, so it's like, I would love to hear your perspective.
I'm here, and even when I'm gone, I'll be here. Okay, so it's all good. You know, this is a grace, you know, to be here, and I do give thanks. So never, no one ever has to feel apologetic, you know, because my time is time, you know, and my experiences and what I've gained over the years is for us. It's for us, you know, not to be ruling over, but to be a part of. So, in answer to your question, okay, you do it until it becomes ridiculous. You understand what I'm saying? Until it becomes like, well, A, you know, we're taking lives for no reason, you know. B is that I have to watch out because see, I can fall into, I'm just going to take your money, you know. You can just keep coming back with the same stuff because you're not making the change and got this sky god kind of mentality that something's going to save you as opposed to supporting you. Okay. I, as the priest, can be like, oh, yeah, this is going to work out real nice. And plus, I just, you know, saw this new car that I wanted. Okay, I'm going to have this individual coming back until the car note is paid. You understand? So, you know, the danger is on both sides, my brother. The danger is on both sides. And you might not be able to do anything about the individual that is not changing, but you can have everything to do with what's happening with you. And once, like I said, until it becomes ridiculous, until it becomes just really, is this how we're going to do this? My essence, my Ifa-ness, my son of Orumila-ness, my Orisha-ness is not going to tolerate it. Is not going to tolerate it. And if you don't start making changes, then I'm going to stop being a part of this endlessly catastrophic circle because you're destroying both of us. Ashe? Yep. I guess the quiet in the room is the quiet in the room.
No, my
Okay.
bad. I'm multitasking. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
But you got me though. You heard what I said though, right? We good?
I stepped out. Could you say the last part? Look, I'm on daddy duty at the same time, multitasking, look, tribe duty and daddy duty. But what was the last statement? I heard you saying about you're not going to participate with the pretty much like being a hitman.
I got you. All right. Well, first of all, peace to the family, brother. You know what I mean? Because you know I'm about that, you know? All right. So here we go, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The point is when it becomes ridiculous to you as the priest,
Right.
that's when it stops. Because see, you as the priest, we as the priestly can be drawn into the manipulative. Okay, to say, oh well, I don't care if you change or not. Every time you come back, it's $400-500. You know what I mean? Now it's going to be $750. Now it's going to be $1,300. Oh baby, please keep coming back because that new car over there. You know, I'm trying to get that joker paid off, and I got these bills, and I want to do this and I want to do that, and I'm dependent. So it's not so much that the person is not doing what they're supposed to do. What's most important, and I repeat 1,001 times, is that what happens to the priestly, because you can stop it. You can stop it. You can say, like I've had to say many a time, I'm not going down this road. I'm not going down this road. You know, you can feel as though I abandon you, but which I have had people say, but I'm not abandoning you. You're abandoning yourself. And if I have to shut the door in order for you to take in order for you to snap into your own reality and say, I got to get my ish together, then that's what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need me. You need you.
Facts.
You need you.
Big
Now,
facts.
if you want to give you up and place the burden of you on me, then I have to share with you that that's childish. You're not a 3-year-old. You're freaking in your 30s or damn near 50. Why do you feel as though you can dump you on me, and if not careful, even fault me for not getting what you say you keep paying for, because you don't want to face yourself and say, I haven't fulfilled a vow. I haven't even made a vow. I just feel as though that sacrifice and the priest should be able to take care of it for me. And I'm like, wake up, and start acting like, you've been out of the womb for more than 5 days, and start looking around you and start picking up on the essence and the energy of life, because it all filters through you. So you may say, in closing, you may say, all right, well, this is your 3rd time, and around here, 3 is a very powerful number. Okay.
Me and you both know.
So if you're not going to make changes, and this same old dude keep coming up, or this same type of Ebo keep coming up, I've done it for you 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Because now it's just ridiculous. Again, I'm not just doing it to save you from the trauma. I have to stand my spiritual realm.
That part.
That's
real.
Yeah, bro.
That's real, Baba. And shout out to Bro Kansu for joining the Ashe tribe, and shout out to DJ Quico for joining the Patreon family. I appreciate both of y'all, man. Much love, and we're definitely gonna be building. We're gonna be making it happen on a regular basis. I got a lot laid out that we already started working on last week or this week, and then last week too. But we got a lot more in store, and then Baba and I will be definitely taking off with the Institute this coming week. So we have a whole lot more in store. So I appreciate y'all family for supporting to the highest level, and and we're ready to take off, man. We're here now in 9 year, and it's a lot, Baba. And I was thinking too, it's so much to everything that you just said, and I was thinking about how there's so many people who will be willing to take advantage of others, and to like you said, look at a person as that meal ticket, as that cash cow, in order to get to the bag and this and that. But me personally, excuse me, and I know for a fact, like some of the people who are regular watchers of the channel that I've actually worked with in person in regards to doing work with, I like to challenge people, because I feel like that's something that you've always done with me, as well as something I've done with myself. And it's because I look at it like, we're not just doing this just to do this. You know what I mean? I look at, when you talk about 7 generations in the future, that means something to me. That resonates to me. Hell, I remember to the day, the very first time that you mentioned that we needed a lighthouse. I don't know if you remember that. You remember that episode? I can't remember which podcast it was, because it's my 3rd podcast. So it's either Food for Thought or Prolific Perspectives podcast, but whichever one it was, I remember us talking, and you mentioned the lighthouse, and it's like, we here now. Like, this is the lighthouse that you mentioned, and I took that as a challenge, when you said that. And but I also look at everybody who I personally work with. I'm challenging them to maximize their potential to be the best that they could be, because it goes back to what you and I both know about how I look at students and teachers. And somebody put in the chat about, I think it might have been in Kosi. If it wasn't, my apologies, but whoever it was, I appreciate you. But somebody mentioned in the chat, like, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And it's like, that's a real thing. And I look at the Mike Tyson Custom Auto, relationship, or the Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, like whichever great dynamic coach player, or, teacher student dynamic duo. I want to be that with anybody who I work with, because I'm not successful unless I am able to do everything I can to help whoever I'm working with to be the best that they can, and not just be the best that they can, but be the best that they can independent of me. And that's why I go as hard as I do with the work that I do, because this ain't about me, and I know that. It's about us. It's about we. It's about the tribe. And I feel like that's where we have the environment that kind of just through osmosis, or organically kind of molded itself into what it became to be now, because it's always been pure intentions. And it's always been for the love of the all, instead of anybody trying to put themselves on a pedestal and standing on a, you know what I'm saying? Like standing on a mountaintop, beating their chest, I'm this, I'm that. Man, anybody got time for all that, man, because none of that really matter, because until we get to where we need to be as a whole collectively, man, miss us with that BS, man. We ain't got time for all that, man. For real.
So Adimu, all right. People go back, people water for the libation, can consider that an offering. Of course, prayer for the Olojoni, facing the directions. Okay. East, west, south, north. Okay. Flowers, honey, Oshun folks, with the honey, Obatala with this, if you want to do the quick snail, you can do snail water. Okay. Water that snails, somebody's aquarium has snails, you can take the water right out, and make your offering, put your hand. Then you have the palm oil, for Shangos. Now there's some places that say that Eshu doesn't take palm oil, but there's a whole lot of other places to say that Eshu does. Okay, so how it feels to you, and when you cast your obi, if Eshu says Ejife, and then the offering is accepted, then it's like, okay, Modupwe, we can thank you, and then keep it moving, So there are many different types of Adimu, but what some people don't do, I won't even say many, because I haven't done the statistical kind of research, but let's just say that you are with Baba or Ia, and they say, okay, well, bring a basket of fruit. Okay, we're not going to do a Ebo J. We're going to bring the fruit. And I say, okay, well, place the fruit, down, or give me the fruit, the basket, and I'll place the basket in front of the shrine. And I'm saying, well, that's cool, but it's too cool. Okay. What I've come to learn and cross-reference is that when the Adimu is given, it must first be presented to Ori. Okay. No offering should go down before any shrine unless it has been presented to the Ori. And even with Adimu, your prayers, and then you go by, what changes you are going to make. Sitting around waiting for the Orisha, I made my offering. Well, I'm like, and that's just like, I got some money. Okay, well, how'd you get it? Oh, I robbed somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so you're telling me what your end result is. Okay, but what I'm telling you is that your process is more important than the result. Because somebody tracked you down because you robbed them, or now you in jail because so you having that money, it's not impressive. You could have cheated a whole lot of people.
Yes,
you could have hurt a whole lot of people. And in the same way, it's kind of quirky kind of analogy, but I'm trying to just keep it real for my people. And that is, you can keep making these offerings, but if you aren't doing it in a way that is elevating not only you, but the situation. Okay. Another short story. You know, working on a piece called Blood in the Water and Shit in the Jar. Okay. I'm telling you, man, this stuff is
get him, Baba, get him. Look at Queen. We ain't seen in a while, Queen. Baba.
Oh, Queen's back. Okay.
Yeah, we ain't seen in a while. We was about to put a APB out. I've been asking Kosi where, like, where Queen at? We ain't seen her, but she back. Right. But Baba, what you just?
I'm trying to keep it cool, brother. I'm trying to keep it cool.
Look, I think we done flip sides, man. You done went hot now. I'm cool.
Right. It's all good, man. So Blood in the Water. Short story. Okay, Queen. All right. So now I'm gonna come back to that, Queen, because that's a powerful statement. All right. Orisha Gbemi, could you take it down? Because sometimes it messed with my head. All right, thank you. Concisely, blood in the water, shit in the jar. Now, blood in the water is about, again, very concisely. I'm still thinking of story. The young woman who finds out that there's a conjure woman, and so she goes to the conjure woman, and she wants the conjure woman to give her a spell so she can go and have this man fall in love with her. So the conjure woman tells her to put a monthly blood in some water and then pour it on his food, so he'll barely notice the taste or whatever, that diluted. But as long as he gets it in him, the spell is going to work. So the young woman does it. Spell works. The man falls deeply in love with her, and as time goes on, he starts to kind of morph. You know what I mean? Because she has to kind of continually do it for a while, or whenever she feels as though he's not, being the love man, so she continues to do it. And now it's become an addiction. You understand what I'm saying? For her. And now he's starting to morph as a result, because he's spiritually taken all over the place, not realizing why, but he eventually kind of morphs into a very, very aggressive and demonic individual. And he winds up hurting her really badly, So, not to give the whole story away, but, the whole thing, blood in the water. Now, the other part, the shit in the jar, which I may just call excrement in a jar for all of our, sensitive ears out there, sister has a little problem with somebody at the job, so she writes her name on the parchment and prays some bad stuff and puts it in a jar of excrement. And then the woman has an accident, and things go awry in the woman's life. And so the person is like, oh, see, the spell worked. I need to keep doing this, and then it's of course, so whenever somebody kind of pisses him off, he goes to the parchment, puts it in a jar of excrement, and just watches things go bad for people until, as they say, shit hit the fan. All right. And the ghosts of these people come back to not only haunt him, but terrorize and torture him. They go beyond haunt. So you see, so even this, this whole thing, and I just bring this out, because I'm a writer, and even when I'm not writing, I'm thinking like a writer, and all of our experiences become as they've always been, stories, they become a source of creativity, and going back to the Ijala, who would make poetry, so we're stuck into this Ebo thing, and we're not freeing our minds to be creative and to tell stories that have a moral ending, which is basically quit playing with this stuff. If you're going to make an offering, do so because you are attempting to elevate yourself and or the situation. Okay? Be it Ebo, Eje, or be it Adimu. Okay? Quit this whole supernatural hoodoo voodoo kind of stuff. I read this piece, sister down in the New Orleans or in that region had passed on, and the first thing they had to say was, oh, she was a powerful hoodoo priestess. And I'm like, yeah, but where she's from, the crime rate is terrible. Black folks killing black folks like they in Chicago. You understand what I'm saying? You know, there is no literacy rate because it's like close to zero. And if she's so daggone powerful, then what is it that she's powerful over? I mean, really, you know? But that's my way of thinking. I digress. My bad. So here we go. So when we were making Adimu, I behoove the priest, the priestly, make sure that the offering comes from the person and is just not put in front of the Ojubo. Okay. And in instances, one of the sisters, Oshuniyi, shared with me her term for it, and she was like spiritual hygiene. Okay. Having people try to stay as clean as they can, but when you cleanse with the bird or you cleanse with the fruit, you cleanse, or the priestly person cleanses you. All the while you have to relax. You have to let that toxicity go into that bird, into that fruit, you know, Adimu. Or even as you exhale into the flowers. You have to give something from within you to put there. The flowers aren't good. You can give your flowers to your mom. You can give your flowers to the girlfriend. You can give your flowers to the Orisha, but that doesn't mean that it's changing you. What is in your heart is strengthened by the offerings that you make. Okay, so that's Adimu. Okay,
Bye-bye.
no blood. Or I used to cleanse people with pigeons, you know, back in the day when I was like, okay, I'm easing up on this blood thing because Orumila is telling me, okay, training wheels off, you know. They didn't even take away the daggone handlebars. You know what I mean? Be like the circle, you know, you got to learn how to balance yourself. No training wheels, no handlebars, and one wheel, and one wheel. You understand what I'm saying? It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
the pigeons, and we just all watching awe as if just let the pigeons go and they would fly to the roofs and all that kind of thing. People be like, wow. So
Baba,
you see, yes,
I'm sorry,
yes,
I
sir.
because I've got a quick question
No,
because you mentioned something that excuse me, after you said
no.
it, now I'm curious. So what is the protocol? Let's say, for example, because I remember even like before I was initiated, I used to give my, my warriors or my shrines, whatever, animals, but at the time I didn't know to present it to my Ori, and do everything before.
Mhm.
But my question is, what about a devotee who's not initiated? Do, like, say if they want to give Adimu, offerings to their, their shrine, their warriors, their gungun, what have you, and they might live by themselves and they don't have a priest there. Is it okay for them to kind of present it to themselves, to their oris, or just
Absolutely,
okay,
absolutely,
okay,
absolutely. Now, when you say not initiated, you're talking about not initiated as priestly, but they may have their elekes, because I already said they had, they're at least somewhere in there.
yeah, the lekes or warriors, you know what I mean? But excuse me, that's why I was curious because I'm like, I'm looking at it from like both sides. I'm looking at it like before I was, in the priesthood, and
Mhm,
then also when I was a devotee. And I remember like
mhm,
going to the temple and going to Bembes when we went to present to the shrines, in the community. We had to get
mhm.
presented by a priest or priestess. But
Right.
at the same time, I'm looking at it also like when I was just an Aborisha, and what I'm saying, like when I had my warriors, etc. I didn't have nobody there to like present it to my Ori and all, but I still presented my offering. So I was wondering like how that works in regards to people who might be in that phase of their journey.
Yeah, I would dare say, or not even dare say, you know, it's cool. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
My only hesitation might be that person not studying,
I got
you
you.
know, and not really understanding where their cautionary line is, you know, because see, people are quick to be upset. You know what I mean? And something that doesn't go right, or even if something is going right, you know, I want to make this offering for my sick friend. You know, like I want to pray for my friend. You know, kind of thing. So you know, it's just like be mindful of what you're doing. I think what I'm trying to say. You know, don't do it and expect miracles, and don't do it and expect things to go your way, you know, and don't do it without thought, you know, without, again, mindfulness. So yeah, you know, you can be a traveler on the road and come by a shrine and say, well, I'm gonna give an offering to SU, and yep, you know, you ain't nowhere near a priesthood. But if you are, you know, cognizant of SU and what SU represents, then you be helpful. Now other people just walk by it like it's not even there, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my only cautionary thing, you know, and if the person were a part of our elay, you know, I would say, well, even though you know you're just coming in, you know, if you want to set up an ancestral shrine and you want to make an offering to your ancestors, then free. But make sure you're reading, make sure you're attending the podcast, you know, make sure you're learning and growing, you know, simultaneously, and not just feel that you just do it completely, you know,
Right.
at your fancy, basically.
I got you. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but that kind of it kind of just spoke to me. So I was just curious as to how what your thoughts was on that one. And then
Yeah.
and Kosi had a question too. I'll bring it to the front. He said that's a divine time too at 11:11. But he said Adimu about eyeballs are meant to cleanse as well. So like fruit eyeballs or food, etc.
Yeah.
He wants to know like
Yeah.
is that meant to cleanse? I guess energy, negative energy, maybe.
Okay. Well, not all the time, because remember I stated the four.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, from my school of thought, you know, cleansing takes place. You can cleanse your mind, you cleanse your spirit. You know what I mean, and you can do the physical cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to say that they're all needing to be cleansing experiences.
Mm.
You know, detoxification of negativity, detoxification of uncertainty, you know, detoxification of environmental factors. You've been around people who just weren't cool, you know what I mean? Like there was a fight on the bus, you know what I mean? And all this negative energy, and you're sitting there like a very sensitive person taking all this in. And you're like, damn, man, you know, as soon as I get home, I need to get a couple of oranges or something, cleanse myself, you know, or at worst, get some water, you know, and do something to kind of ward off that influx of negativity. So concisely, yes, they are meant to cleanse as well. Could we go back to Queen's statement? All right, brother Nkosi.
Yeah, which one, Baba?
She made it just a second ago. I don't know if she made more than one because
Well,
she just
listen, it'd be a whole lot going on back on my end. I try not to put them up too fast or too many because I know sometimes it could distract you. So I try to pick my spots, But it might be the first one she put. Let me see. Is it this one, Baba?
Oh, right. That's the one. Hey,
Okay.
Queen. I was told I cannot go hungry when I eat. My ancestors are eating as well through me. I am the temple shrine. But yes. If you're on that vibe, then that vibe it's always regenerated. Okay. Now, the power of your statement comes with this as a general statement to everyone. When we look at Ewo, Ewo means taboo. Okay, because I know we've kind of really stuck on the Ebos. Now we're into the Ewos, all right? The taboo. Now, what is a taboo? Okay, that which is prohibited, basically, that which should not be. And there are many different Ewos in any given home, any given community, any given nation, or any given people. And what's an Ewo over there is not necessarily an Ewo over here. Okay. So, and laws are even constructed around a given society's prohibitions, Ewos. Punishment is even, a part of that process of we don't do this over here. And if you do, there are consequences, right? So when we talk about the taboos, we can get very specific in terms of, well, the Odu says you should not do this. The Orisha says you should not do this. Ifa says you should not do this. Okay? You specifically. But that person standing next to you might be able to do it. And in many cases can. Okay? So we kind of learn to balance each other in terms of, well, I can't eat shellfish. Rumula said, no more shellfish. Oshun says, freshwater fish are, sacred to her. So as a devotee of Oshun, you cannot eat this. You. Okay. Then we have more generals. Okay. Now, okay, Queen, stick with me, okay? Now, what we have is the more expanded type of Ewos. Okay, like your Ewo would be, don't let yourself get hungry. That's your taboo, your ancestral essence, the way it's radiating from within you and in you is stating that we're not doing the hunger thing. That's Ewo. That's a taboo. Now, that might not go for anybody else, but it goes for you. And if your Egun aren't happy, if your Orisha aren't happy, now we have to try to do something to appease them. Okay, to bring things back in harmony, if you will. All right. Now, okay. Hopefully, I highlighted that via Sister Queen's statement. All right, yeah, we're good. Okay. Now, another story. Okay. I was in Kenya, 1977. We out in the bush. It's part of a program, educational, building. With the Fundishi hospitals. As basic as they were. And on this one particular day, there was a fuss going on in the compounds in the village, and police cars were coming in swirling. Oh man, and we're like, what's up? Because everything before had been all peaceful, everything, everybody working in harmony, blah blah blah. Not a wrinkle in emotional time. But on this day, the village was in an uproar. Come to find out, a man caught one of his sons in bed with one of the co-wives. And he did not hesitate to let the village know. Okay. And as a result, the villagers drugged that boy out and they beat him within an ounce of his life. Orisha Gbemi, could you take Queen's statement down, please? Oh, you still multitasking. Orisha Gbemi. All right. So what happened was that they beat that boy so bad, Lee. They beat him so badly that he was almost unrecognizable. I thought he was dead. And the police were like, you know, because they speak in English and, you know, mixed with the Kiswahili and all that, but enough for, you know, those of us who were in the program to understand what was going on. And when it became clear that, I'll call him the young man, okay, was caught sleeping with one of his father's co-wives, that there was nothing that they wanted to do about it. They got back in their car and they drove off. You know, nobody was questioned, you know, outside of, you know, the obvious and people telling them what happened, the man telling them, you know, witnesses telling them, and even the woman herself standing there looking all, you know, just, yeah, I messed up. You see it all on her face, you know, but it was so much of a taboo for this to happen that they could have killed that young man and nothing would have been done, because even when the police came from out, it was either Mombasa or Nairobi, they were like, what's the situation? And, oh, this is what happened. Oh, this boy was sleeping with one of his father's wives. Oh, no. That's serious taboo right there. And when you think about if she was impregnated, or, you know, and when you think about the rippling effect that would have if everybody was doing it, then it's like, okay, well, I'm like, well, let me get back to work. You know what I mean? I ain't got nothing to say and nothing to do, you know, as opposed to some Europeans. Oh, that's such a shame. Oh my gosh, you know, he didn't deserve that. And I'm like, you know, gone back to Norway or wherever, you know what I mean? Because you have taboos there as well. And if one of us came up over there and broke it, you know, we'd be in jail or dead. Okay. So here, you know, here we get with the taboos and how sensitive a place it is, but how necessary a place it is. What is it that we are prohibited from doing in any given society and or religion? And what are the results of transgressing? What's the impact? What's the rippling effect? Okay. Now, for me, since we're talking about food, Queen, and this is what kind of triggered this, and I shared this with Baba Orisa Gbemi. I said, there was one time years ago, the ancestors came to me and said, we curse sugar. The sugar plant is cursed amongst our people. I'm like, what? You know, sugar in everything. You know, when they stopped making the 10-pound sugar bags, you know what I mean? You start finding sugar in meat. You know, my students couldn't believe it until I had them read the labels. Okay. So sugar is everywhere. And I'm saying, well, if it's causing all of these negative effects from diabetes to freaking obesity and hyperactivity in our children, you know what I mean? So I can immediately identify with certain foods being taboos for our people, not just from a historical sense, because so many of us died and our blood was in those fields. of sugar cane. Okay. But also because we recognize the harmful effects that it would have on the 7 generations. And we cursed it. We cursed it. But nobody want to talk about that. Oh, because it tastes good and it's addictive and, you know, big business. And everybody says, oh, well, it's cool. You know, we're going to put it in everything, everywhere, all the time. Oh, we don't care about you losing a leg. We don't care about you dying. We don't care about your kids can't have, you know, learn because they all hyped up. We don't care about that. But what we do care about is that money. And what we do care about is the continuation of this global gangsterism that we are perpetuating on you melanated people specifically, and people in general, period. We don't, we don't, you know, we don't want to address the real taboos.
I want to address that, Baba, because I didn't mean to cut you off, but you said something just now that really struck a chord with me. And you know how it struck a chord with me when we had the conversation off air, because it was profound. Like it struck a chord with me. And see, you didn't know this part, what I'm about to share with you, but when you said that, when you told me what you told me the other day, and if I'm not mistaken, I think was on the mat getting ready to do my whatever day O'Shea day it was, and I was calling you to get a specific insight on whatever it was. I can't remember that, but I remember you telling me what you just shared with the tribe. And when you told me that, the first thing that came to my mind was I thought about the Haitian Revolution, and I believe his first name is Francois, and his last name is Makandao, who was the herbalist that was he was the like pretty much he was like the pregame that Cecilia Fatima, Deti Boukman, Toussaint Louverture, and Jean-Jacques Dessalines, you know what I'm saying? He kind of opened the way, you know, for them to do what they had to do because he was helping the tribe or the people in the fields to help, you know, start the revolution. But what happened is, for those who have seen that documentary 1804, when the colonizers caught him, they did catch him and they were, you know, about to assassinate him. But he told them, he said, "That's okay, y'all can kill me, but the revolution's not over, and I'm gonna come back as a mosquito, and I'm still gonna kill a whole bunch of y'all." So he like literally prophesized the malaria, you know what I'm saying, outbreak in regards to how malaria now is being spread by mosquitoes. And so that's what I thought about the first day when you told me. But what you just said just now, that struck another chord, because on the last podcast, I was talking about how on New Year's, I usually sit at my shrine because one of my grandmother's birthday is on New Year's. And excuse me, that same grandmother had diabetes. And I feel like she had a surgery where she had to have a part of her leg amputated. And that surgery was the beginning of the end for her because of the diabetes. So what you just said just now takes it to a whole nother level for me personally about how I feel about that. So it's like now, you know, we talking about like this is real life for me. I know how that felt to live that. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work.
My brother, well, first of all, you know, please, you know, accept my deep feelings about that.
But it's just I ain't gonna lie and say it didn't make me think even deeper into what you taught me, because I had no idea prior to that. You know what I mean? So
definitely, you know, and I think for a 9 out of every 10 Black families out there got some kind of, you know, rippling effect, you know, behind the whole sugar thing. And I'm working like the middle schools back in the day and all of that. You know, I used to just watch, you know, the party thing and all of that, you know, school parties. Like, no, we're not doing that. And it's one time I did, I took a bunch of students too, and I said, watch and see how these students start acting once they eat all of this kind of stuff that, you know, the school is bringing in for them to celebrate whatever day it was. And we took note of how everything was cool up to a certain point, and then it was like, all sugar cane broke loose up in there, and not in a negative sense, but just just wild. We just, I'd say, you see what I'm talking about, and they were like, yeah, Mr. Karade, we see it, because like you often say, when you in the frame, you don't really keep yourself.
You can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
But now when I take students out and look at folks like experimentally, it becomes obvious to them, that this whole sugar thing, and I talk about rum and the lives that were lost on these sugarcane fields once rum became, a popular kind of alcoholic beverage. And I'm telling you, the lifespan on those plantations was no more than 27 years. And you figure you might have been 12 or between 12 and 19 when you were trafficked. So what is that? A 7-year lifespan? They worked our people to death, literally. But we don't want to see that. We're too busy worried about somebody don't like us and we got to make an Ebo. We don't want to see what's really killing us, that we have control over. Are we afraid to be in control of our lives and then question why we can't build an empire, build a business together, construct together? It's no small wonder, because we don't want to give up, the BS. I tell my students, the BS stand for bad schooling. Okay, what I mean? We don't want to give up what we've been schooling. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm still in that one. Just FYI, I'm gonna give you credit though. Look, I'm one of them people. I ain't gonna take nobody's stuff without giving them their credits, man. I'm gonna give you credit, but I'm borrowing that one.
You want to go home and tell them the professor said this is a bunch of BS? Let them know what they cracking up. Let them know that it's bad schooling. We've been so conditioned to accept the worst blindly.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, I'm going to stop eating sugar, saw a program just the other day. Sis had a nice layout, black restaurant, getting her stuff together. And the interviewers were, followed her to the kitchen. You know how they do. We done talk and everything. She pulled out a bag of sugar that was so big, she had to put it on her shoulders. And when she opened that bag, had like 7 tins of yams, all cut up. Okay. And she poured so much sugar on each of those long tins. I'm not talking about the little catering stuff. I'm talking about business.
Talking about the big family reunion gathering, 10 pans. Yeah.
Yes. You couldn't even see the yams anymore. She poured so much sugar on each of them. And even the commentator was like, yo, that's a lot of sugar. And she was like, yeah, but it's going to taste good. It's going to taste good. I'm like, wow, sis. But she ain't by herself. You know what I mean? But when we start talking about taboos, as the priestly, and as those of us who are in Ifani Sheshe, for the upliftment and elevation of our people, we can't close our eyes to this. And the first thing we want to do is tell some people, oh, you got to make an offering. Well, the offering you have to make is blindness. You have to sacrifice your incapacity to reason. Just because you can read, that doesn't mean you can reason. Oh, I read the label, said it has sugar in it, but I like it. Or my kids love Frosted Flakes. That stuff is banned in almost every country.
Yeah.
Except this one.
Yeah.
Why you want to keep giving your kids that? Not because they like it, but because you like it. And you like it because it's quick. You like it because it's sweet. You like it because it gets them out of the house. Really? Really? when that bad report card come home, you ready to be all in the kid's case. Okay, we have things to face, and if the priestly can't face it, then we just a bunch of punks, man.
Well,
I'm gonna call it like I did. We just a bunch of punks. You know, we hiding behind the bird when we should be out there fighting the fight for our people.
Listen,
you know, that's just in my opinion. Now, I'm just
look. I agree with you, Baba. Look, I don't know about. I'm gonna go.
Man.
Listen, I used to, you know, we both spoken word artists amongst being writers, but listen, I dibbled and dabbled in the studio a little bit myself, man. You almost made me want to break out one of my one of my songs. It's called "Born in the Field," but
Step up.
But yeah, it's "Born in the Field." I could never be a house, you know what, raised in. Anyway, I might share, but I just say all that to say, huh?
Please share the daggone thing, man. Come on, quit.
You said share. Hey, I share it. Listen, so
yeah.
I did want to I wanted to say something too. I'll share it, and then that'll be the close for tonight. Only because I got to get up in the morning and get to the family tribe. Got some ball games and stuff I got to get to. But I do want to just like kind of like piggyback off of what you were saying in regards to like what we're here to do and how we're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like I really feel like this is the time, and the time is now for us to do and be what we came here to do and be. And I feel like everything that you shared with us tonight, a lot of it I have never heard before. A few things I heard before, and I remember how I felt when I heard the few things like the rum and the sugar and all that. And I ain't gonna lie, it brought something up out of me. It did, because I know what that took away from me. It took both of my grandmothers away from me. And I'm a mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? It's like not only am I a mama's boy, but I was close with both of them, closer to one another, but it don't matter, because either way it goes, I look at both of them as mothers more so than grandmothers, because of, you know, my love for both of them. But that really takes my disdain for this culture to a whole nother level when you say that. And I'm gonna share this with the tribe, and it's something that I'll probably be sharing in the community in the very near future, if not next week. But when I was in them castles, Baba, in Ghana, when I was in Elmina and Cape Coast, and I went into them dungeons, I promise you, the whole time I was walking through those dungeons, and I got footage of it too, I was praying to the ancestors. I was praying. And I remember being there with Balogun Shango. Shout out to Baba Ogun Tolu. And I remember telling him I had brought I had literally asked him to like let me go to a store to buy libations to to share, you know, to honor the ancestors, right? And I recall I did get it, and I recall I forgot it in the car. And then while we were on the tour, I told him, like, Baba, I forgot my libations that I wanted to use to say a prayer to the ancestors. He was like, Jagoon, he was like, listen, you probably don't want to do that now anyway. He was like, wait till the tour is over with, and then go back to the car and get it, and then come back here. So when you say your prayers, you say your prayers where it's just you and the ancestors. And I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, you're right, Baba. And Baba, I'm telling you, when I went back and got it and I went back in there, I said some prayers. When I tell you I said some prayers because I felt that energy. I saw them chains and them balls and them bars and all that. You know what I'm saying? That the point of no return and the doors where we knew that our ancestors was never going to see the light of day of, you know, where they came from again ever after that point. And when I tell you, you talking about something being raised up in somebody, I said some prayers, man. Look, I promise you on everything. I see them manifesting right before our very eyes. Like I promise you, because when I tell you I said them based off of everything that you talked about tonight, especially when it comes to the sugar cane, the diabetes, the cursing up. Man, listen. So yeah, we here now. We ain't alone. That's all I'm gonna say. That's real. Like I feel that.
And please just bear with me, because of course that's opening up Badagry in me, you know, and that whole thing. But see, this is what makes the difference between we as priestly and individuals who don't have those experiences, or who don't even want to have those experiences, and for whatever reason can't have, and so therefore it's not even in the mind to have. You understand? But when we have it, and we we may be praying to them, but they praying to us as well. And I had to share that with some people about, the physical and the metaphysical, joining. We are praying to the ancestors, but when them ancestors overtook you, like they overtook me, they was praying for us. They was praying for us to be strong enough to do what we need to do for the salvation, for the upliftment of our people. We just didn't go to become a Babalawo to come back and blah 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 and whatever, and I don't recognize you and blah blah, walking around like crazy people. It's like, no, we prayed over you so that you can make change, so that you can regain not only your humanity, but your spirit, so that you can regain your spirit. So we're a family, tribe, nation. We come across a little differently because we've been through some different things, and we're not gonna step back, because see, we've been prayed over, and all these other people may not recognize it, but apparently Orunmila recognizes us. Apparently the Orisha recognize us, and most definitely our Egun recognize us.
Yes, sir.
And so we here now.
We here now.
And if you looking to be recognized by those other, facts and figures of how other people do things, then I kind of hate to tell you, you might have a little difficulty. Because you go walking into somebody's Ile or their house talking what we talking, you got to be ready for a beat down. So you gonna have to, where you yeah, man, you better roll up in there with your entourage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's real.
Like a or whatever. You need to roll up in there like, I got some new knowledge, but I got my boys with me too.
Yes, sir. Don't
but
want to go slow.
Yeah, in closing, it's just to say that that's a powerful experience, brother. The whole door of no return. And for those of us who've even touched on that and have become Ifa priests, we're going to be different. We just need to be different. It's like becoming an elite soldier. You know what I mean? It's like being taken through some things so that we can, fight the hard battles. Not just a little, I need somebody to do something because my boyfriend don't like me anymore. You know what I mean? Okay, go get a rooster or whatever. Okay, fine. Okay, done, been there, done that. Okay, so you good, and so he don't love you anyway, but whatever. Pay your money, bye.
Oh, wow.
But we got people who can't read. We got people who are incarcerated. We got people who are dying from overload of sugar and bad food and bad school. We're the priest of our people. We're the priestly of our people. Get a grip on that, everybody. Get a grip on that. Because if you have any other reason to make priesthood, consider it questionable from the elder here. Consider it questionable.
Well, I'm jumping on with you, Baba. I'm not elder yet, but damn it, I agree with you, and I'm in 100%. 100%.
You're on the good road, brother. You're on the good road. You're on the right road. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
All
I
day,
appreciate everybody out there too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tribe still thriving, man. We still got a full house too.
And the people could say, well, the cotton fields and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but we ain't eating cotton. Okay.
Yeah.
Cotton is not killing us, by the millions.
Yes.
Cotton is not disrupting our youth, but that sugar cane damn sure is.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Baba, when you told me that, man, I'm telling you, boy, you put something in me that day. I was like, yo, I was like, yo, that's it's deep, but it made so much sense. It made so much sense. You know, but it's warfare, you know. Here's what it is. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, family. I got to get ready to shut it down for another early morning, but I appreciate everybody who showed up and showed out again tonight, man. It's all love, always has been, always will be, and always is. So I definitely appreciate y'all. Bye. Appreciate you, Tribe. We appreciate you. Welcome back, Queen and Kosi, Ifa Sagoon, Pacific Dogwood, Bro Kansu, the whole tribe, yeah, everybody really, you know, I appreciate everybody who showed up, man, and showed out, and we appreciate y'all. And we'll see y'all again in the very near future, man, for sure. Baba, you got anything you want to leave with the tribe on the way out?
Yeah, I just want to leave with this, I'm just asking you to just bear with the old man. I know I get a little, like we got this to do, and don't be punking out on us, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean, and it's just that, we got to be strong because we got a lot of wickedness to deal with. Stay tuned for the OGC Institute that we're bringing into. So start, please, thinking about, gathering information so that you get involved with it. Look at our products and our books. Start filling your libraries. Start filling your libraries. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Take that next step with the subscribe button. Take that next step. Get the books. I got my Ashe sweatshirt, you know what I mean? And let's do more in order to get more done. Ashe.
Yes, sir. That's a mic drop right there. No, I appreciate it, Baba. That's real. And yeah, we got a lot coming, and we didn't even get into A Place of Nights, the audio book. We got a lot. Place of Nights audio book, the OGC Institute, the Spiritual Awakening Journal. Actually, that's a course that's coming. You know, I'm working on that as well, Baba. And then we got the whole entire Karade Nation. Baba got a whole damn library. He got the Tawede coming soon. So it's like, yeah, we got a lot, but it's all for the family, man. It's all for the tribe. It's all for the culture, you know. So I give thanks, and I give thanks and peace and blessings and hooray to everybody, in the tribe, as well as, everybody who's watching who's not, officially subscribed or with the tribe. We still appreciate y'all too. But with that, man, it's all love. And Baba, I appreciate you. Appreciate the tribe. And this has been another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. Please, family, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one. We out. Peace. Odabo.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàpọ̀ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your